When we turn to employment, new unemployment numbers came out. Jobless numbers were up. Those who were seeking unemployment compensation, a slight bump, not as bad as we thought it was going to be, but still too many people are out of work. More frightening, there's a sense among some people collecting unemployment compensation, they've given up. You're elected to Congress. I know you're not an advocate for government creating jobs, but what mechanisms are available to you as a congressman to help put Americans back to work? What would you advocate to put Floridians back to work?
You know, the results of our current unemployment to someone like me is not surprising at all. We've done nothing in the last 2 years to promote the willingness of people that put capital at risk, that then turns around and increases their desire to put human capital, at work. And the foundation that makes up a businessman's decision to invest their capital and grow their businesses and create new jobs has to do with confidence in government, tax policy, a clear vision about where we're going to be heading over the next 3 to 5 to 10 years. All of that plays into a businessman's decision to make an investment. Right now, the business community has no confidence in its government, has no confidence in future tax policy other than more mandates and more burdens and more barriers to making an investment. And if you're a small business owner or a large business owner, you lay out what's called a pro forma. You identify the potential opportunities for revenue and your cost structure. Right now, the numbers don't work. It doesn't produce a return on your investment. Consequently, jobs aren't being created. Let me tell you what needs to be done immediately. Extend the Bush tax cuts for 3 years or longer.
3 years?
For 3 years or longer, okay? That will send an immediate signal to people, okay, to the business community, that there's a recognition of the problem, and it will give people a little bit more breathing room in terms of the decision making. Don't increase capital gains taxes, lower capital gains taxes.
Give them motivation to reinvest.
That's correct. And keep the capital in people's hands. You don't want the money going to Washington because Washington finds a way to spend it. What you want is the capital to be invested. And we have not made the investments we need to in the American private sector. And that doesn't happen without full assistance and good tax policy. And that's why we haven't been able to create any jobs yet.
Pam Bondi, who's running for Attorney General, the only prosecutor in this race, told us that repealing the Obama health care plan is at the top of her list because she says it's an undue burden upon business and all Floridians and Americans. As a member of Congress, that also plays into, I think, what you're saying about business. How can business survive with an undue burden placed upon them for the cost they're going to have to shoulder on health care?
Well, that just is another barrier that works against job creation. But let me give you some other examples of this, Mark, that are yet to surface. Because I said this, I think, on our last time we were together, is as we move forward in looking at health care, more and more people, more and more American citizens are going to find out the implications of this. Let's talk about just the two things that have gone into effect already, and that's an elimination of a lifetime cap and increasing the number of young people that are being covered under their parents' plan. Take Brevard County. It's part of the District 24. It's a self-insured county. So what's that mean? They have a pool. They have an actuarial a rate that's set, and they set the premiums, and the county contributes to this plan, and so it's self-funded. The day this law goes into effect, all of a sudden their cost goes up. Next day, cap's gone. They have to increase the amount of money in the pool. More people are in the plan that aren't paying anything because they're covering the young people. That's not a business. That's county government. How is the county, who is already running at a deficit, okay, they have to have a balanced budget, going to have the resources, and are they going to turn around and now tax the people?
They're going to have to raise property taxes.
They're going to have to raise property tax, okay? So don't think that it's just an impact on the business community. It's an impact on small towns, communities. If you go to my website, craigmillerforcongress.com, you'll see endorsements mounting up in the tens and dozens from small community mayors, city councilmen, county commissioners, because I've been spending a lot of my time talking to those folks because they're the closest to the American people. They see the impact of these things just like a small businessman. And I can tell you, they're scared, they have no answers for it, and they know this big Medicare premium is also going to be affecting them.
In fact, for our internet viewers, you can go online and you can see Craig Miller's website, which showcases exactly what he's talking about. If, in fact, the Republicans take over, are you part of the people who think that we can repeal this with
Absolutely.
a majority vote?
Absolutely. Congress and the leadership in Congress can control spending. They can control the priorities that are brought before the Congress. And it's imperative that we take control of Congress as a minimum in this election in this year. By doing so, we will stop the Obama socialized programs in their tracks and get in and start working on the reform necessary that is necessary in health care. Let me give you some examples. As a member of the Restaurant Association, for years, we've been advocating creating the ability for small businesses and restaurants. Half the restaurants in America are non-chain. They're independent, small independent operators. Why can't we have the ability for these folks to band together in some type of association plan, whether it's the realtors, the restaurateurs, the hoteliers, so that they can lower their costs? Why don't we allow small business owners and independent sole proprietors to use pre-tax dollars to pay for insurance? That lowers the cost 25% out of the box, encourages them to do that. They get penalized the way the system. And we didn't do enough as Republicans when we were in charge of Congress and we had the votes to do some of these things, and that's what brought on this, this Obamacare, which is going to be a disaster for our country.